WKRR, Asheboro, Winston-Salem. From the John's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Studios, back to the Two Guys Named Chris show on Rock 92.
I meant to tell you this, Dave. Last week,
Yeah?
a week ago today, you were not here. You were still in London.
I was on my way back on Tuesday.
Right. That's right. We were, by the way, yesterday just talking about the Royals before you were in on the show, and I was quoting your cab driver in London, talking about how Prince William.
He was a guide.
Excuse me. I was quoting your guide who said that Prince William was so ingrained, pampered in the Royals that he would go to the bathroom and he never even touches the Royal zipper. They unzip it and take it out for him and hold it for him while he pees.
Is that accurate, Dave?
Is that what you said?
Well, I didn't do it, but I don't know how much the Brits. I think they seem to be a lot more involved with it and seem to think that the royal family is extremely overly pampered.
Yes.
Even to the point, because I mentioned The Crown.
Yeah.
So I said, do you watch The Crown?
The show.
He's like, yes, I watch it. And I said, is it true to life? I mean, are they really, is it real? You know, when Queen Elizabeth's dad was alive, did they button him up and shave him and do everything for him? He's like, oh, it's worse than that. He's like, they do even more for him.
Yeah.
He's like, they made it look simpler than it was, but
Yeah.
they are completely, Charles takes a toilet seat everywhere he goes. He doesn't use a toilet. They have to install a seat for him so that he can use it.
Unbelievable.
The royal bottom only touches one seat.
That's
One
right.
seat,
It's got
that's
one
it.
seat. I don't know what it's made of. I don't know if it's gold or whatever.
Would
but
any other royal bottom be allowed to touch it? Could Mummy or
No.
William wouldn't use it?
No, he's got his own.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own seat?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he cleans himself or not.
Well, that was our
That was
question.
my question.
I bet he doesn't even wipe. I bet he bends over and they come get it.
Well, it may be. I don't. Why would you? I mean, if you're 8, 9, and you've got.
I think he's doing the impression now of
Well,
Prince Charles.
we all know.
While it's happening.
Yeah, while it's happening.
Hello.
But if you think about it,
bell.
I'm done. I mean, if you think about it, I
Right.
mean, they were brought up with, they had nurses. I mean, they didn't have a nurse. They had a team of nannies and nurses that did that for them and probably did it when they were 5 or 6 and may not have taught them. They just did it all the way up and may still do it to this day.
Well, and your guide said that William, who seems more like regular
Of the people.
is not.
No, they're not.
He really gets pampered.
He's
like
the one that he quoted this twice and said that the Queen's daughter, is it Anne, I think, that she does like 400 things a year for the country, ribbon cuttings,
Yes.
speeches, dinners, whatever. And that William and Kate do about 35.
They don't do nearly as much as.
No.
But I think they're thought of as
And,
being.
the Queen and Philip do more than their
even though
grandkids.
they're really older.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And Charles does more than his grandkids, and that they are your typical.
But
They're very millennial.
Well, but I think that their front that they put up has worked, at least in this country, because I think of them as of the people. The coverage they get is, out there. And
But I
shake
asked him, I
hands
said,
and all.
well, Harry, he used to fly. Didn't he fly helicopters?
Yeah, in the war.
and was out in the war and was out in the S, as they call it. And he said, that's all for the cameras.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was out there. He's like, but they're not going to put him in harm's way. And they would never put William in harm's way. And I said,
Never.
what about the Queen when she worked on ambulances in World War II? He's like, she might have put her head under one hood and that was it for pictures.
That's the guide.
So that's the vision they have of the Royals. They're very downplayed, but they love them.
I had forgotten that you told me this, so I said somebody who's really in the know about the royal family told me this, and then Biggie and Chris Demm had said, "Well, that was Dave telling you that." Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Dave.
yeah.
But it's his guide.
You've
now.
forgotten your sources again.
Right, exactly. When you were gone to London and you were coming back last Tuesday, we had a promotions meeting. We all sit around the table. Dave's in the meeting. I'm in the meeting. 8 or 9 other people in there, sales folks. The Brain Trust.
I don't know why I'm in that meeting. I go.
The brains of the meeting, right. Okay, so.
The cream de la cream.
Here's what you missed now. Here's what you missed.
Please.
I told this earlier now. We were sitting talking about your baby, the beer festival. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Now, Dave runs this every year, and it's a.
We don't talk about it all year, and you guys decide to talk about it. The one day I'm not there.
I said, bring it up when he's not here. Let's talk about it.
Perfect.
It's your baby. Now, the beer festival came up, and somebody said, I want to make it even bigger. Let's get a big musical act in there. And you really make it like beer and music. Well, that'd be interesting. Wonder what Dave would say about this. All of this, while you weren't here. Ricky said, let's get Hootie and the Blowfish. And everybody said, we cannot afford Hootie and the Blowfish. I mean,
I don't even think you could get them together.
of course. It's like, we're not doing that, obviously. Brez stopped in and said, let's get AC/DC. We said, no. I'm going to get AC/DC.
All right, then Bon Jovi.
Van Halen. He said Van Halen.
Yep,
all
yep.
And then Littlest Patriot said, you know who would be perfect, but we can't get him. And I said, who? He goes, Eddie Money. I was like, you're right. We cannot get Eddie Money.
She was. So.
He did. I said, nah, we're not going to get Eddie.
Why would you even?
Who knows?
Because he would be perfect. He would be absolutely perfect for this venue.
Again. Especially now that he's dead. Right. I mean, his name's out there again.
And his schedule is open.
Pretty open.
I said this before and I'll say it again. These people are in charge of things here. And it's alarming.
Well, I'm glad I missed the meeting.
Yeah. Little Space said, you know we can get, but we can't do it. And I said, who? I said, maybe we can make it happen.
Just say the name.
Eddie Money. Oh, no, you're right. There's nothing. We can't. You're right.
Maybe we could still.
We're supposed to say there are no bad ideas at a brainstorming meeting.
You were late for your workout, Kelly, for that.
I ran out the door.
That's too bad.
Lynn, you're talking about Prince Charles. Talking about the Royals here for a minute. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. Building on what Weather Dave was saying, I had read this on YouTube or one of those little tell you about the family, and they were talking about how Lady and Lord somebody had done extensive rehab on their house because Prince Charles and Camilla were coming to visit. And I mean, they spent all kinds of money. And do you know that when he got there to stay with them, there was a big truck behind him because he brought his bedroom suit. I mean, like his actual bed, his mattress, his sheets, and then his dressers and everything. So all of their wonderfully decorative stuff had to be moved out.
Wow.
And his stuff moved in. And they say that, you know, they don't visit much.
I bet. My goodness. That's incredible.
And those are the top royals. I mean, you know, there are princess
sub-royals
and viscounts and everything else that are all, you know, probably close to billionaires that are
what a story.
The same way. I mean, imagine to in your life to have never slept on the same set of sheets every night.
Right.
If you could have a title, what would you be? Earl, Duke?
I'd want to be down far enough so that I'm out off the radar, but could make stuff happen.
A Lord?
Oh, but make it happen.
Yeah, make things happen and
Lord
go
Dave?
do things.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord Dave. Oh, Lord Dave. Oh, Lord.
Well, you say that now when you walk in the door.
Oh, Lord Dave.
Oh, Lord Dave.
Oh, Lord. Dave's in here. Oh, no. You got him. I read, I believe that a golfer, I think it's Tiger Woods, that he does it when he comes to a place, like they'll rent a home and, you know, for U.S. Open, let's say, and they stay there the whole week, but he has his own furniture brought in. The house has the furniture taken. I think somebody called us and told us that.
That's right.
You know, for the U.S. Open, a lot of those guys, maybe Koepka or Woods, somebody, and they take in their own bed because they don't want to sleep on anybody else's bed. They want their own thing. And
or they rent a house on Augusta National on the property somewhere.
Yes, and everything's brought in.
That's right.
It's their stuff. That's right. We were talking about rock and roll and music, and last week we gave out the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there is as Chris Demm said at that time, there's a fan component to it as of last year. You can vote for who should be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At press time today, Pat Benatar is leading the way. She's got 154,000
Oh, they
votes.
give updates along the way? They don't keep it quiet?
No, every once in a while they'll update you. So that was only about a week ago that the nominees were announced. We got Pat Benatar first, followed by the Doobie Brothers, Soundgarden, Depeche Mode, and Judas Priest. They're the top 5 as far as fans go, and that's one component of it. Just because they win the fan vote, I don't think means they're in, but it's a part of it anyway. Maybe it does. I don't know exactly how they do it. But yes, those are the top 5 for right now. I am stunned the Doobie Brothers are not in there already for the musical background they've got.
Yeah.
Two Wheel Hardo weighed in on that and said, I don't understand why the Rock Hall gets any attention at all. Glorified tourist trap, money grab. Hall has zero credibility once they let people like Janet Jackson in, and Iron Maiden is not. That's Hardo on that.
He's Hardo.
That's right.
Yeah, bad example.
A lot of people have that feeling.
It's true. It's not rock and roll. Janet Jackson's not rock and roll. He says bands like Kraftwerk and MC5 are only nominated so the music industry intellectuals can seem cool and nuanced amongst their peers. It's a BS circle jerk. That's Hardo, man.
It's a good email, actually.
He goes
He's
there.
not going to Cleveland.
He will say that.
No, he will not go to Cleveland.
He refuses to do it. He says there's no point in it anymore.
Unless you're a Browns fan, you go to Cleveland.
Well, and I wonder, are other Hall of Fames the same way? Your football, baseball, or is it? But they're all players.
Well, football players you may not have heard of. I mean, you don't know who the offensive lineman was for the Cardinals in 1978, but they might have gone to the playoffs and you just don't know.
But generally, of the current players, if a lineman goes in, usually it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of him. You know, he made so many.
You've
Pro
heard
Bowls.
of him.
Heard of. I don't really know, but you've heard of him. You know, there is I think one person in this building. I think this will really help for. making it easier to be more casual all the time. There's something new, a new product out there, which are socks for your flip-flops. They have the toes. There's no toes. You know how
It's Asian kind of thing, isn't it? Japanese?
Yeah.
Well, they used to have split socks.
Yeah.
So you could wear them with
Did
sandal.
they?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen those. These had no toes. These were like it's like those texting gloves, which have
Or driving gloves.
which the fingers can.
I see.
These are basically
There's no toe cap.
Right.
and they're thick wool socks, so you can wear flip flops even in the winter if you want to.
What's the point?
Well, we have a coworker. Well, it keeps your feet warm, and you're still casual.
The shoes, still casual.
Well.
If you're talking about who I think you're talking about.
Well, we have a
Look,
coworker.
it's part of his motif.
He wears flip
Is that
flops.
his thing?
That's his thing.
Even in winter, he wears flip flops a lot of the time. He's wearing flip flops today as it gets cooler here.
He's Superman.
Yeah, he wears Superman t-shirt and flip flop. I read the one thing, even as dinners get more and more casual, you should never ever wear flip flops to a nice dinner. You know, you can't. That's the one thing you can't get away with.
I don't think unless you're at the beach, you should wear flip-flops.
Well, I know.
Agreed.
I know. I'm not a.
And even then, it's just from your car to the beach. or
Agreed.
From your house to your beach.
Biggie's
Well,
right.
I wear them around the grocery store at the beach.
Wrong.
I can't wear flip-flops. Flip-flop
No.
in the grocery store at the beach.
I just think flip-flops are disgusting. They're called flip-flops. They make a sound. There's nothing redeeming about a flip-flop. Men, women, and there's people that wear them out in public and wear them to work here.
Well, you're a good friend of a guy who wears a lot of flip-flops.
Fire them.
I'm in Biggie's camp on this.
The flip-flop is the worst thing ever invented.
That would be a very strange HR meeting. I think you know why you're here today.
I don't.
Think footwear.
Look down.
Look at your footwear.
Just the noise alone makes my skin crawl.
Do it again.
Flop. It's like flap, flap. I can hear it when I'm in a store.
Oh, yeah.
And then normally followed by heavy mouth breathing.
Well,
the chips.
now they're pretty popular in summer.
Throw them out.
I don't think
I'd
you can.
rather see bare feet.
Ooh. What did we had a comedian in here called him Supermarket Feet. Tim Statham.
Yeah.
Yeah, supermarket feet because they're all black on the bottom. You know, when you walk around the supermarket as a
You
kid
got
with
to love that, Kelly.
no shoes on, supermarket feet. Oh, God, I cannot stand supermarket feet. My son has supermarket feet all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, he wears white socks sometimes, and I'll see the bottom of it. It's just like, gross.
Walk out to the mailbox, no shoes, come back in.
Oh, yes.
Now, I know for a time, and this was a couple years ago before he became a teenager, but he was wearing the same socks over and over and over.
he
Is
still
he at
does it.
least changing the socks?
No, every couple of days. I have to tell him. I saw those on you yesterday.
He's in high school. His peers should be forcing him to change.
Oh, I know that. And his toenails. Oh,
Yeah, but he's still in that teen age probably where you don't take a shower, you just, you cover it up with Axe or Speed Stick.
and when he gets in the car, the whole car fills with that smell
sure.
of Axe and hairspray. His hair's up real high.
Yeah, feet and butt.
Feet and butt and spray.
That's what
It's almost the name of the show. I'm feet and I'm butt. And that's spray.
Good morning.
Right, that was our second choice. Well, I wanted Kelley and Company, as you know, with all K's, but Chris Demm said, yeah, but that's the KKK. Oh, yeah, man, you're right.
Oh, what's wrong?
Plumbing issues can result in water damage, so get you a plumber who can do both. At Phase 3 Plumbing and Water Restoration, estimates are free. And if you pay for a competing quote and choose Phase 3, they'll pay the competitor's estimate fee 24/7. Call the experts at Phase 3 Plumbing and Water Restoration, 615-3110, or request a quote at phase3plumbing.com.